Welcome back, everybody. I'm Jay. He's Maddie. This is a Yankee and the Brits Sunday pregame show. And Maddie, your pick for this morning ain't looking too good, my man.
Yeah, I thought it would be a bad matchup, but the Jags are playing some good football. So fair enough to the Jags. But more importantly, I think the Falcons are playing not hot. Like not particularly well. They've got their 7 points in the third quarter, so maybe the comeback is on. But Desmond Ritter is playing exactly the kind of ball that he can't play. He cannot throw interceptions for this Falcons team.
On all three of my fantasy teams, I started the Jaguars defense.
Smart. Yeah. I thought it was a bad matchup personally.
I had 23 points.
It's not like the Jags are pulling away.
I had 23 points when I woke up, but now it's down to 19 from their D.
Yeah, the Falcons have still rushed for over 100 yards. They've got 199 total, but it's just
2 picks.
It's those two picks. And Desmond, if the Falcons want to succeed, they need a new quarterback, and it doesn't have to be somebody crazy. Like they don't have to go into the into any crazy sweepstakes for veteran quarterbacks or anybody, but just some sort of game manager who's got a bit more to him than Desmond Ritter, like Gardner Minshew.
I heard Carson Wentz is looking for a job.
Well, he throws picks as well, so he can't play the kind of ball that they're looking for. Taylor Heineke, somebody like there's players out there. There are players there that are better players than Desmond Ritter.
Yeah, they're going to ride this season with Ritter, and then if he's not what they want, they're going to go on and try to find a new quarterback.
Miles Davis, backup quarterback for the Texans.
Davis Mills, backup
quarterback for the Texans.
Don't do that.
That kind of guy.
Mills.
That kind of guy. Or who else is out there? Who? Anybody else that comes to the top of your head that the Falcons could grab and make them an instantly better team just because of the way that they play football as well?
Yeah, and who the fuck would want to go there too is another question. But
yeah, Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush makes them a better team, doesn't he?
Well, since from what I hear from Cowboys fans, Trey Lance is your future, you could just send Dak over there.
They'd be a really good team they'd be a really great team with Dak Prescott on there.
Yeah, not if you're trying to cut down interceptions, but
he's thrown one interception so far this season.
Yeah, I think some of them rolled over from last year. He had so many.
Oh, right. Okay. Is that what happens? It's an aggregate now, is it? I see.
Only for Dak.
Talking of aggregate, shout out to Team Europe for finishing off Team USA in the Ryder Cup. Don't know if you watch any golf or anything, Jay, but the Ryder Cup is... I don't really watch golf. I just love the Ryder Cup. There's something about it that I just really enjoy. I think
nobody cares about golf. And the U.S. cares even less about golf now that LIV exists.
Well, the Ryder Cup's one of those tournaments that LIV won't take over.
I think in the U.S. we'd like it better if it was LIV. But now that they're fighting each other, we're like, fuck you.
Yeah.
We're like, we didn't like golf to begin with, and now you're all going to pull this bullshit? Go away.
The Falcons' leading rusher and receiver is Bijan Robinson.
Yeah.
In this game.
Well, how about Thursday night? How about them fucking Packers? You got to love that.
Yeah, I mean, their offensive line looked terrible. How much of that can be up to Jordan Love holding onto the ball and not reading the offense too long?
I read a statistic that said that Jordan Love held onto the ball an average of 4 seconds, which is ridiculous in the NFL.
Yeah, Justin Fields holds on to it an average of 5.5 or something like that. But
And the best quarter.
That's skewed. That's skewed by the times that he like runs a fucking shit ton as well when he just doesn't need to.
The best quarterbacks in the NFL hold it for 1.6 to 2.2 seconds. That's how long. And you got Love and Fields over there like writing a novel before they throw the ball.
Yeah. I saw he. Sorry. Yes. And that was. Look, the lines look good. Their defensive line is pretty decent. They have a strong defensive line. Aiden Hutchinson is definitely looking like the right pick, which pretty much everybody said during that draft that Aiden Hutchinson is the guy who should be taking 1. Trayvon Walker is the guy to take it 2. And that is turning out to be right. In that game, Jordan Love had a QB rating. Jade, have you seen this?
Nope.
What Jordan Love's QB rating is? Do you want to have a guess?
54.
So the perfect score is 158, I think.
Oh, so you're okay. So you're talking passer rating.
Maybe. I think I'm no. Sorry, I'm talking QB rating and I'm being a fool. Yeah.
Because with the QBR, it's 100, but with the passer rating,
yeah. Sorry, yeah, I'm being stupid. Yeah, QBR. So it's out of 100. QBR.
54.
7. A QBR of 7.
Wow, Desmond Ridder is impressed. Desmond Ridder is impressed because I'd like to see what Desmond Ridder's is after this game with these 2 picks too. But yeah, okay.
Yeah, so his QB rate is 7. I mean, 63.9% completion ratage on 246 yards doesn't sound terrible. If you know what I mean, to get a QBR of 7 according to ESPN.
It doesn't sound great either, though.
For 7. Yeah, he's showing who we thought Jordan Love was going to be. Like, so Jordan Love comes out here and he's played all right in the season so far. Like, he's played fine ball, but everybody was like, have the Packers fallen into another Aaron Rodgers? It's like, no, he hasn't.
Well, Jordan my neighbor, always, this whole summer, what if? And that's what I kept hearing because he's like, what if Jordan Love's good? What if Jordan Love's good? So all summer I get to keep hearing, what if?
Yeah, and it's like, what if Jordan Love is good? Well, what is good? What is good for Jordan Love? Like, what are you expecting? Because the Packers have needed Aaron Rodgers, who's a special.
Well, no, because they're coming off Favre, then Rodgers. Now, if they had another good one, that was mine and my neighbor's. Like, what if? Yeah. Also,
but it's
what if Bakhtiari's knee didn't fall the fuck off? What if that? What if they didn't pay Bakhtiari a ton of money and then his knee fell the fuck off? How about what? He hasn't been playing. But they've been paying him top left tackle money for 2 years now not to play.
That's another one of those things, though, where Bakhtiari has had injury issues. We know Bakhtiari is an injury-prone player. Like, he's an injured guy, an older guy.
Why did they give him such a big contract?
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Is my question.
Yeah, that contract is wild.
And with all of these teams having offensive line issues, how come Taylor Lewan doesn't have a fucking job? That's what I want to know.
Yeah,
I wonder if he's not taking. Go ahead. Sorry.
It's difficult to see inside the eyes of GMs in those kind of things. Players like Taylor Lewan.
You think it's bussing with the boys? Maybe he's just turning down jobs because they're doing so good with bussing.
It could be. Like, for me, it could be. It's hard to see in the eyes of agents. Is Taylor Lewan done with football? is he said like, look, like my body can't take that. Maybe he wants a year of football out. Maybe he
He
wants
lost
that
a
kind of
lot of
thing.
weight too.
Yeah, like, and also plugging into a new system, like a new team, like this point in the season. Maybe it's not something he wants to do. Maybe the right offer hasn't crossed the table to make him think, yeah, okay, I'll sacrifice my body to do that again. That could be it. Because otherwise you would think, why aren't teams like the Packers? Why aren't teams like because the Rams offensive line looked like the Rams offensive line of last season, last week. So why aren't they calling like those kind of people?
Yeah, I watch all the offensive line play, and I'm like, there's got to be something because I know he was injured a couple years in a row, but for a vet that you could bring in for not huge money, he's got to be an upgrade to some of these offensive lines.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of speculation online to has he retired and just not come out yet. And
Maybe he's waiting to
because
see if
what
somebody gets hurt from a contender too. You know what I mean? Maybe
yeah,
that's something that he's trying to figure out.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. Why wouldn't he just come in? Why wouldn't he just wait until later in the season so he can just pick his spot and things
Well, I know a
and
lot of
things like
these
that?
running backs said that's what they're going to do, and a lot of them are going to be out of the league because they didn't just take the jobs that were. And I'm not saying that they should just take whatever's handed to them, but there comes a point in the offseason, especially for a position like running back, where if you don't take the job now, you might not have a job later to take. I feel like Kareem Hunt is the exception to the rule because you're going to see like guys like Leonard Floyd who may never play in the NFL again because they didn't just take the jobs offered to them.
Yeah, I think the reason that teams would want to keep the veteran running back is because you keep the same knowledge in that room. You don't have to reteach a guy the offense, but once you've retaught a guy the offense, more often than not, a young guy looks pretty good, like standing behind a decent offense. Like if you have a decent offense, your young running back is going to look serviceable, like as a second or a third player to your starting running back.
I do think that's why Zeke is with New England. I don't think it's because Zeke wanted to go to New England. I think he was like,
Yeah.
oh, I want to play football, and this is my best bet to play football this year. And let me go over to New England because they're going to pay me a little more than Dallas is going to. And everybody's like, well, why wouldn't you just go back to Dallas? And I'm like, it ain't about the money at that point. It's like you can't go from being the man to being Pollard's backup. Like alpha males have to swallow that pride to go, I was the man here, and now I'm backing up my backup. I think that's another reason why he didn't stick it out with and come back for less with Dallas.
I'm not sure Zach.
A lot of guys will take less money from other teams just so they don't look like the Vikings offered Dalvin Cook $8 million. He's like, no, I'm not taking a pay cut from you. Then he gets to the open market and realizes, oh, I should have probably took that $8 million, but now going back, I look foolish,
Yeah, you gotta sometimes put your ego aside. I'm not sure Zeke is one of those guys where he wouldn't have minded backing up because he's backing up Rondre Stevenson in
But
New
it's in a
England.
different. It's always they leave so they don't.
It's a different team.
Yes, you'll take less from a different team, but you won't take less from your team, and things like that. It's always a weird thing with them, with the NFL, the way it plays out. So sometimes it changes scenery too. Maybe he's just like fuck, and not even just the Cowboys. Maybe he's just like, I need a different scene than Dallas.
Yeah, I mean Boston's a good place to live, and like New England's a good organization. He weirdly fits in there because of their strange offensive decisions of sticking with slow people. So, but uh, he needless shot on Zeke. Sorry, Zeke.
You took a needless
But
shot at the whole team, so it was awesome. Okay,
that was no. That was a needful shot. That was more aimed at Belichick and his Belichick the GM and his love for slow players. So many memes of Belichick like seeing a player who runs a 4.3 and it's like runs too fast. The offense will go too quickly, too fast, and then sees the white guy running 4.9 in the 40 and goes like, perfect. That's exactly what we want. It's like, yeah, that's that. It looks like that's what they're doing. But Zeke also fits in well in the Patriots in terms of like his professionalism, his veteranship, like he's a leader in the locker room. That's what I think Dallas could miss offensively this year. That kind of leadership from Zeke.
Okay, I'm watching the Jags game right now while we're talking, and I know you're a big fan of Drake London, and he might die before the season's over if Ritter keeps throwing him into traffic like that.
Yeah, I mean that's what he's for, but it would be nice if he hit him in the numbers and not like.
Oh, he's gonna get him hit in
head.
the head at some point. Like
yeah,
he's just not accurate,
Yeah.
and he puts him in bad spots. It's like the third time today I watched him and went, "They're gonna get that kid killed."
Yeah, he makes an excellent receiver for those techniques. It's why it's frustrating that Desmond Ridder is so inaccurate. He can't get Kyle Pitts and Drake London the ball, and those guys are mountains. Like you can have a throw-in radius of about 8 feet, like, and still those guys can go up and make a play. But Desmond Ridder still can't get the ball to those guys. He has a great wide receiver room for a non-accurate quarterback.
So, all right, we'll get to some football because we went through a little bit of what we saw this last week. But my question for you, Maddie, is: are the Packers dead?
Are the Packers dead? In that division, weirdly, no. In the NFC North, in the same way the Vikings aren't dead either, due to nobody looking particularly keen to run away.
Is it the same though? Because like Jordan Love has not looked good.
Yeah, I mean the Vikings defense has also not looked good, but
no, but rebuilding your defense seems to be an easier task, as crazy as it sounds, than finding a new quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, saying a team is dead at 2-2 seems a lot. Again, games back.
I think they're dead because I think Jordan Love proved he's probably not an NFL quarterback.
Yes, in terms of do they have the quarterback play available? Do I think they have the quarterback play available to make it so far, like to make it to the playoffs? No, I don't. Not after watching Jordan Love, not after watching Jared Goff, and not after watching.
Let me rephrase that. They have, because Jordan Love is their quarterback, are they dead?
Yes.
Okay, that's my thought too. Though, like I almost, you know me, I've defended Love, but after 4 games, I'm not seeing it. Like, and I know it's only 4 games, but this is a guy who sat 3 years. Like, I feel like he should be better at reading the defense, knowing where to go with the ball. And that's the things where I'm like, that's where I thought he'd be strong. 3 years sitting, knowing that offense. I know where the ball needs to go. I'm going to get rid of it now. And that's not what we're seeing.
Yeah, 4 games with decent stat lines as well. But I'm not really an eye test guy like a lot of the time, but 4 games with decent stat lines, he doesn't look like he's the guy that's going to win them a football game. That's what he looks like to me. He looks like he throws well in garbage time. He looks like he throws well when the pressure's off. He looks like it's 3rd and 10 in the 4th quarter. You need to go down the field and drive the ball for a game-winning touchdown. He doesn't look that guy to me, which is interesting to say on a guy who led a 17-point comeback in the 4th quarter against the Saints, but how much of that was down to him?
And his stat line's all right, except his passing percentage is shit. And to me, that's the most important stat line. Like, so, yeah, it's weird. I feel bad for Jordan Love. I love to see the Packers struggle.
Yeah, it's Jordan Love's getting. I think Jordan Love is in an unfortunate situation where he is the quarterback he's the quarterback that comes after Aaron Rodgers. And part of it may look like the same reason that Geno Smith got so much hate in New York and was out of the building so quickly. Like Jordan Love can be seen as being part of the reason why Aaron Rodgers is not a Packer anymore. Like that seemed like a turning point in the relationship between Rodgers and the Packers, the Jordan Love draft. So Love is in an unfortunate situation there. And if he's not playing lights out ball, then he's not going to get very far.
Okay, so on the other end, is it time for Detroit to just extend and pay Goff?
That's why GMs get paid the big bucks. Jared Goff was an interesting acquisition coming in with this trade. This looks like a trade where both teams have won, by the way. The Stafford's trade to the Rams with Goff coming the other way and the first rounders that the Lions were able to use. And they got an extra first rounder for basically taking Goff off the books for the Rams. And then it turns out Goff is Goff ranked higher than Matthew Stafford at the moment?
That's a good question. I will tell you in a second.
Maybe we need to reorder Matthew Stafford's because his arm hasn't fallen off, maybe, and he's playing good ball with the Rams. Yeah, I would extend Goff. While you've got a good thing going on, I would extend him and see how much it's going to cost to extend him. But they have no quarterback options afterwards, so you kind of have to extend Goff.
I was never like, hey, Jared Goff's the next coming. But the more I watch him, I'm like, you just might want to pay this guy.
He runs that offense very well. Like the way that they've got that offense set up runs well. What QBs are they going to get? Because it doesn't look like they're going to have a high draft pick. So that means they're going to the trade table, the free agency table. Like, what quarterback are they going to get that's as good as Goff? Are they in the same position that the Cowboys were in with Dak? Is that where they are? Where it's like, what options do they have at QB?
I mean, they got Hayden Hooker.
Jared Goff. Yeah, let's see if Hayden Hooker.
They got Hayden Hooker.
Let's see Hayden Hooker though. Like, he's basically spending this whole season out injured, isn't he? So let's see Hayden Hooker before we go to before Jared Goff.
Okay, so
getting rid of Jared Goff.
Jared Goff has 70% completion rating, 819 yards passing, 5 touchdowns, 2 picks. Whereas, where are you, buddy? Stafford has a 60% completion rating, so that's not that good. 900 yards. He's only got 2 passing touchdowns and 4 interceptions. So Goff is definitely outplaying Stafford right now.
Yeah, I mean Goff behind a better offensive line as well, and a lot of those lack of passing touchdowns is due to them getting the ball down in short yardage and then Kyren Williams running it over the line in the first 2 weeks. And I think his completion ratio took a massive hit last week because he didn't have any time to throw the ball. So, but Jared Goff is running this offense perfectly. Is what that stat line tells me is Jared Goff is running that offense like close to perfectly. So you couldn't ask for any more. So extend the guy. I never understand this need to change. Like, who are they paying that's going to make more of a difference to them than Jared Goff right now? Yeah, so Amon-Ra St. Brown do a deal? Yeah. You've got to pay him. I think you have to pay him.
I think so, too. I don't think they move on from him. I think he is clearly, for the next 5 years, their quarterback.
Yeah, the more I think about it, the more that I think you have to pay him. Like, you're in a position where you have to, if you want to continue to press the NFC North. Now, if they fall apart and they don't make the playoffs here, then okay, you look at Hayden Hooker and you do that. But right now, you extend Jared Goff. And it's easier to extend him now than it will be to extend him later. A team like the Falcons could do with a Jared Goff, by the way.
Yeah, I agree with that. So as of today's game,
so there's plenty of teams that want him.
So for today's games, we'll start out with 2 of your favorite teams. We have the Commanders at the Eagles, with the Eagles being in a 9.5-point favorite at home.
Yeah, so I'm in Thailand right now, and I was in a market
Oh yeah,
in
hold on.
Chatuchak Market.
1 second. Maddie's the
Sorry.
only motherfucker in the whole world. Like, I got friends who be like, bro, I had to run to the east side. Or, hey, I had to run one town over. I get a message and he's like, hey, I had to run to Thailand. Like,
I yeah. I had to be there 2 weeks. I had to be here a week or two earlier than I thought I did. Um, so yeah, I'm in Thailand right now, everybody. And I saw in Chatuchak Market in Bangkok, I saw a guy wearing a vintage Redskins t-shirt, and I was like, "Oh, that keep hold of that, man, because that'll be worth a lot later." And sorry, that just made me
well,
think
hey,
about it. It was a very cool top and a very strange thing to see.
as you're bringing it up, there is a Native American group in the U.S. who is trying to get them to change the
I've seen
name
this.
back.
Yeah, because it's an honorable chief and it's disgracing his name, and it's. I don't know. I'm not in any position to talk on that. I don't know. I have no idea. Is it white people getting offended when they shouldn't be getting offended? I don't know. It seemed like there wasn't many people against changing the name at the time. I'm interested.
I'm interested
I'm
to see if they
interested.
end up changing the name away from the Commanders with new ownership at some point. Like, can we
I
have three
fucking would
names?
because it's terrible.
Me and you
Yeah.
were both.
The
I
football
hated the
team.
football team, but then it grew on me.
I was a fan from the football team from the off. That felt great. That was really good for them. It's hard for branding. I get that. Okay, sorry. What was the spread? 9 points. The betting laws in
9.5.
Thailand mean that this is 9.5. The betting laws in Thailand mean this is the first time I'm hearing or seeing any of the spreads. So yeah, 9.5.
The gambling laws in Thailand mean Maddie will be strung up after the show and dragged to the middle of the square. But other than that,
Yeah. Other things that are against the law in Thailand: not wearing underwear underneath your trousers, shorts, whatever, in a public place. So you have to wear underwear. Can't go commando. It's against the law to do that. Crazy.
interesting.
And also, slagging off the king. You're really not allowed to do that. That's really bad. So you can't
So like Thailand has a
if
king.
you
I didn't
see
even know that. That's how educated I
yeah,
am.
if you see like money on the floor and you stand on it, that can be seen as being disrespectful to the king, and you can be arrested for that. Anyway, other things you can be arrested for is looking up the gambling laws in the US. So fingers crossed the Thailand government can't hack my VPN. Wonderful. 9.5 point spread. The Eagles looked back to being the Eagles last week. Like, yes, the offense is still shaky, but their defense looked so strong last week. Like, their defense looked immensely strong. That and the Commanders can't move the ball, and the Commanders' sack rate is crazy. Like the amount of sacks the Commanders gave up last week is pretty significant. Let me just look that up.
Yeah,
Uh,
sorry, I had to mute that. My neighbor has a Harley, and that was loud.
Oh wow. Is that what that was? Right,
Yeah.
okay, so Sam Howell 4 interceptions last week against the Bills and was sacked 9 times. And talking about quarterbacks that hold on to the ball far too long, Sam Howell holds on to the ball. You can like out of those 9, quite a few of them is because he continues to hold on to the ball. The Eagles are not going to let the Commanders move this ball at all. The Commanders are going to need to run the ball, and Sam Howell isn't it. He's just Taylor Heineke and Ryan Fitzpatrick again. So give me the Eagles at 9.5.
I agree. Give me the Eagles at 9.5. I hate those huge point spreads, but I still will take the
Yeah.
Eagles at 9.5 on that one. The over under is 43. Again, I don't bet the over under, but 43 over under. Give me the under just because I don't see the Commanders putting up a ton of points.
Give me the under. I don't see the Commanders putting up a ton of points either. And as well as that, the Eagles' offense is still spluttery, and the Commanders' defense is a good defense. They have a legit defense there.
All right. Well, on the next game, it is the Ravens at the Browns, but the Browns are 2-point dogs at home. So the Ravens are favored by 2 on the road in Cleveland.
That's the Nick Chubless Browns. Would be the large reason for that. Look, Deshaun Watson for me is washed. Like he's still not that guy. Like in terms of moving the ball down the field. Like I know they got a 27-3 win against a 27-3 win against the Titans, way through for 289 yards and 2 touchdowns. 116 of those yards going to Amari Cooper, but it still doesn't look right. It doesn't look particularly fresh, and he's living off the back of that defense, which isn't a bad place to be. Like with your quarterback, that's not a bad place to be. Like that defense is probably the best in the league. Maybe the Cowboys, 49ers, Eagles, the Browns, like all lay claim to the best defense in the league. But the Ravens are also spluttering as well. What have you made of the Ravens so far this season?
I don't think they look good at all. And I don't have a lot of faith in the Ravens. So that's why I'm taking the Browns +2.
Yeah. Should the Ravens have done everything they could to hold on to Greg Roman? Because their offense
probably
just looks wrong.
I hate when you screw up a good thing you have going with your quarterback too when it was unnecessary. It's not like Greg Roman got poached for a head coaching job, so you could have definitely kept him there.
Yeah, it seemed like an unnecessary change. I like the aggression of the change to mix things up, get Lamar passing the ball a bit more, but it wasn't like Lamar wasn't passing loads in it wasn't like Lamar wasn't passing loads in Greg Roman's offense either. So it seems like a strange thing to me. That Browns team is too good, so give me the Browns at +2.
All right. Well, then we'll go on to the game of the week, if you ask me.
And yes, it's another Sunday where we have 3 games in the late window. What are they doing?
Yeah, I wish
this game should be in the late window.
Yeah, Miami at Buffalo definitely should be in the late window so we can watch that. And it's on the East Coast, so they could have got away with it. I know they like to do those as the early games, but still, you could have got away with that extra hour. Is not going to hurt anybody. But the Bills are only favored by 2.5 at home.
I don't understand why. Imagine you've just hung 70 on a team and only conceded 20 as well, and you're still not the favorite in the next game. I know the Bills scored just beat the Commanders 37 points to 3 as well. So yes, a blowout, but the Dolphins just blew out a team with a Super Bowl winning quarterback and Sean Payton by 50. So the Dolphins are playing unbelievable football. The Bills, the Dolphins are so fast in so many parts of the pitch. And if you look at the Bills players comparative 40 times, the Bills defense is relatively slow. Like it is, I don't think this is a good matchup for them. I texted you the other day saying I reckon the Miami Dolphins could, I'm not saying they will, but I said they could hang 40 on the Bills as well. Give me the Dolphins as the dog.
Yeah, I went back and forth on this game just because I know how the Dolphins seem to shit the bed every time they play the Bills. But give me the Dolphins and the +2.5. Yeah. The over-under on that game is 53.
And I'm weirdly wanting to take the over. Is that strange? I think the over on that one's a good bet. I would take the over.
Means each team would have to get 27 to get that over too. So
yeah, I think the Dolphins might hang 40. So I'm good with that.
Yeah, being that part of the Bills secondary is out too, that doesn't always help.
Yeah,
not that I would bet it anyway, but give me the over.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet that one. I just think 53 is a good spot. What's interesting about that game is that it's in Buffalo at this time of the year, which I think is a worse way round to have this divisional matchup. So you should have the first game of the season in Miami. I heard PFF talking about this, and I thought it was a genius take. You should have the first game of the season in Miami so that everybody has to deal with the heat. And then should have their second match of the season later in the year in Buffalo, where it'll be a snow game. You can have two crazy extremes, and that just makes everything more fun.
Yeah, I think all stadiums should be dome stadiums, but people don't agree with me, so it's whatever.
I like an outdoor stadium. I think it brings an essence of charm to the
This
league.
is a league that talks about competitive fairness, but you have weather you have to deal with, different turfs and grasses. Like nothing's like level competitively in the NFL, but they always want to preach competitive fairness.
Yeah, but the same two teams have to deal with that weather
On that day, but but the
on
Jags
that
don't
day.
have to deal with that weather, or the Titans don't have to deal with that weather, or there's teams that don't have to deal with it. Like there's a lot of teams that don't have to play on Chicago's shitty field.
That's a good
So
point.
I feel like
that's a fair
if
point.
you had the same turf, a dome, everything, it would be competitive fairness across the board,
Yeah, I think you just lose the soul of a few players. Like Buffalo feels
They're
like that's
building
the
a new
soul of the
stadium, and
stadium,
it not being a dome should be a felony.
I suppose if you're going to take the
snowstorms.
soul of the old stadium away.
They get snowstorms that hit so fast that people die in their fucking cars, but yet we're not going to put a dome.
You can make it a retractable roof. So there's the rugby stadium in Wales, because it rains so fucking much in Wales. You open it up during the summer game, during the sunnier games, which is never in Wales, but and then you can close it for when the rain comes. That could be a tactic to use, maybe.
All right. Well, let's talk some Buccaneers at the Saints. The Saints are 4-point favorites at home against the Bucks.
It's this it's the Marshawn Lattimore versus Mike Evans derby. That's what it is. Even when Brady was there, the Bucs struggled against the Saints defense. It's just the defense they struggle against. Is Derek Carr cleared to play, or is Jameis Winston playing?
Derek Carr starting.
Derek Carr's starting. Okay. Does that make them better or worse?
Better.
Better. I agree. Just checking. Just hearing some of the noise, through the media sphere this week. Some people don't seem to think that it's better.
Get my defense some more. I get another turnover right at the end of the game. I fucking love it. Hook my defense up with some points.
Well done, Desmond Ridder. You fucked me. Young Wei Koo is my kicker. You fucked me.
You got 1 point today, I think.
Must have 1 point. 1 point. Look at me just getting abuse.
What's up?
Look at me just getting abuse.
In the house, letting you know what he feels like.
Just straight up abuse. Straight away. Comes in, drops abuse, and then just leaves.
Yeah, terrible. I like it. He does it in MMA Underground too. He is like, we've been off because basketball season's off, but he is the best, which means he's the worst at MMA well beyond the arc. He must be a basketball dude, because he beats Montana and Manoli up on that show, but it's so funny. So
what game are we talking about?
The Tampa Bay at the Saints. I was going back and forth. Part of me wants to take the Bucks in this game. It really does. Like, part of me really wants to take the Bucks in this game, but I don't know.
I got all hyped and on the Baker Mayfield train last week, and it burnt me.
All right, Saints -4. I'm taking it. I'm locking it in before I change my mind.
I'm going to take the Saints -4 as well. I just think that defense is. It locks down Tampa when they had Tom Brady, so it's going to lock down Tampa when they have Baker Mayfield. Like Michael Evans' career against Marshawn Lattimore is just crazy. Like just against Marshawn Lattimore, though, like that's it. Like every other player, he looks Hall of Fame every single time he plays, and then against Lattimore, he can't get anything for free.
And then the over/under on that game is 41. Oof. Give me the over, just because that's like 20 points per team. Give me the over.
Yeah, give me the over. Even though the reason that I think the team that's going to win is because of shutting the other team down. But give me the over. That would be an easier over if it was 39.
Well,
anyway,
we'll go on to the Vikings at Carolina. The Vikings are 4.5-point favorites on the road.
If the Vikings don't win this game, it's over for the season, right? If you can't put it past Carolina.
Yeah.
What are your worries going into this game? What's your biggest worry?
Turnover, fumbles. That's 7 fumbles this year is why we got our 0-3.
Yeah. You just work, and like Carolina might just come in and try and peanut the ball the entire game. So I would just be shouting at players, hold on to the fucking ball the entire game. Just hold on to the rock. Don't try and reach,
Go ahead, sorry.
Don't try and reach for the extra yards. Don't try and do anything extra. Let's just get out of here with a win. Don't fumble the ball.
If the Vikings don't win by 10, I'll be pissed.
What was the spreads? -4.
4.5.
4.5. Yeah, give me the 4.5. That the Vikings passing game is so lethal. Like it just looks so lethal at times. And they just need to hold on to the ball. And the Panthers don't seem to be able to move the ball a lot. Apart from Adam Thielen, who is having a good fantasy season so far.
And my guess is Cam Akers will get some playing time today too. So we'll see how he fits in, because he didn't have a ton to learn. I mean, the offense is a little different than McVay's, but the verbiage is still the same. So a lot easier to learn than trying to learn like pretty much a new language.
Yeah, let's see if he can hold on to the ball a bit better as well.
And Dalton Reiser, I think they'll start, but they haven't committed at right guard. So we'll see how that goes too.
Do I play Alexander Madison this week in fantasy, Jay? What do you think?
No, and I love him because I got to interview him, but that running game has been bad, like just bad.
He's not actually. Do you know what? He's weirdly not put up bad numbers so far this season. But yeah.
Well, they have over under a 46.5, Maddie. What do you think of that?
I think that's about right. All the over-unders are so hard. Like, over-under betting is crazy to me because they sound kind of right, like, most of the time. I feel like Vegas gets pretty good at these. Give me the under on this one.
Yeah, I'll take the under also. All right.
Okay. Next game. Who we got?
My bad. I was saving the point spread so I can follow the game this week. We got the Broncos at the Bears, and the Broncos are 3-point favorites at the Bears. Give me the Broncos. Give me the -3. I don't give a shit. But give me the under. It's 47.5. Under Broncos by 3.
Wow, the 47.5 is quite high. Yeah, give me the under on 47.5.
Sorry, 47. There's no half, but yeah.
Okay, cool. Give me the under at 47. Anyway. Oh, Younghoe Koo only scoring 1 point has fucked me a little. Anyway. Give me the what a shit house of a game this is. Two terrible defenses going against each other.
And there's not even a doubt in my mind that the Bears lose this game.
Yeah, the defenses is so horrible on both sides of the ball, but their quarterback play on either side of the ball saves the defense's arse. You know what I mean? Like, Justin Fields is playing so badly that we forget that the Bears defense has only had 2 pressures in 3 games, like 2 sacks in 3 games. And the Broncos defense just let up 70 points against the team, and the team took pity on them, so didn't go for the record. That's how bad that got. Give me the Broncos at -3.5 because I don't trust Justin Fields to win a game.
I was watching this reel where they're like, it's karma because of all the bad shit that Sean Payton said as an analyst about Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah, could have come out more fired up, I guess, but I think it's just more that Miami offense is Miami open.
So your kicker got you 1 point. My defense got me 21.
Nice. Good for you. Amon-Ra St. Brown got me 16.6. So I'm okay. I'm playing against Coney Island Warriors.
Bears or the Broncos?
I'm sorry. I said the Broncos by minus. I'll take the Broncos at -3 because I don't trust anybody in the Bears to win.
You taking the under?
Yeah. That's horrible. That game is horrible.
Well, we also got Bengals at the Titans, where the Bengals are only favored by 2.5.
Who would have thought that going into the start of the season, eh? Is Joe Burrow's calf magically fixed?
No, but I'm still taking the Bengals minus the 2.5.
Yeah. Derrick Henry isn't who we think he is. And Derrick Henry does normally have a slow start to the season.
He had one awful game. I have him in fantasy. He only got me 2 points last week. Otherwise, he's been up there in the fantasy points.
Yeah, Alexander Madison's been up there in the fantasy points, though. That doesn't mean it always leads to good projection on the field.
You didn't really just compare Alexander Madison to Derrick Henry.
No, obviously not. But the interesting thing is Derrick Henry's snap percentage. So Jamal Spears actually take a did Spears out snap him last week?
I have no idea.
But it could be because of the game and downs, but I think they're taking Derrick Henry off pass downs. Yeah, I think they're taking him out of. I think they're taking him out of the pass downs. So Derrick Henry had 11 carries and Spears had 4. So no, he didn't. That's carries though. That's not necessarily snaps because then Spears also has 4 receptions. So could have been. Jay seems to have disappeared, so we'll wait for him to get back in. But it's an interesting thought in terms of where Derrick Henry is. We've never seen Derrick Henry is normally on the field in terms of pass downs and on the field in terms of run game as well. He seems to be taken off the field in terms of pass downs, which means if Derrick Henry is on the field, it is going to be a run. They are not passing the ball if Derrick Henry is on the field, is what it looks and seems to mean. Hey, Jay, where'd you go?
I went to shut my camera off to blow my nose, and I accidentally exited myself out of the show.
Right, okay.
Because I didn't feel like everybody wanted to watch me blow my nose. But yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, you're right. You played that game right. But Derrick Henry hasn't been... the Bengals, although they're not really looking like the Bengals, you've got to feel like their defense to hang with the Titans. Okay, I think I'm back. The Titans have been so in and out so far this year. They've played really one good, solid game of football so far this year. Give me the Bengals with 2.5. You got to feel that Joe Burrow will eventually start to be able to throw the ball again.
I thought he started to look better last week, too.
Yeah, he just doesn't look confident, forcing the ball downfield, but I'm not confident in that one.
Well, the over-under on that game is 41.5, so they don't expect a lot of points to be scored, but I say give me the over on that one.
I didn't expect a lot of scores to be I don't expect a lot of scores either, but 41, again, that feels very low. So give me the over, but I wouldn't bet on that game.
All right. Rams at the Colts. The Rams are a 1-point favorite on the road.
That seems low to me. I think the Rams have been playing some excellent football. Did they look like the Rams that we expected them to be last week? Yes, a little bit they did. But they so did they look a bit like that? Yes, they did. But the Colts, how much pressure is the Colts? The reason they look bad is because of the offensive line. So will the Colts be able to bring that defensive line pressure onto Stafford to slow the game up? I don't think they've looked like doing anything like that. I think -1, give me the Rams.
I'm with you. I take the Rams, but the over-under is 45. What do you think on that one?
Oh, that's a good over-under. Under.
I say give me the over.
Is like Richardson's back from his concussion, isn't he? Does that make them better or worse?
Makes them worse as a team, but it makes the chances of big, exciting plays better.
It makes them better in the long term because the guy needs snaps. But it makes them worse in this game. It makes me even more confident of saying -1 to the Rams.
All right. See, this one's got me a little weirded too, because like Pittsburgh at Houston, Pittsburgh's favored by 3 points, only 3. I would give Pittsburgh a bigger spread than that playing against Houston.
Why?
So,
Why?
Because they're a way better team.
What has Houston done wrong so far this year? CJ Stroud looks amazing.
He looks all right. He still looks like a
Stroud
rookie.
has thrown for nearly 1,000 yards.
Yeah, but it hasn't equated to them being a better team yet at all.
Yeah. I think CJ Stroud looks.
Well, take him.
I think CJ Stroud looks legitimate.
Take him then.
I am. I'm going to take him. I'm going to take him at +3.
All right. Take him at the fucking money line. Ride with it. No, I just say that.
Right. Fuck yeah. Taking them at the money line. I think they're gonna win this game. I think the Steelers have come across the Browns when the Browns play badly, come across the Raiders when the Raiders have been playing badly, and their defense looks okay and their offense looks stale as shit. This is an offense that looks good. Like the Texans are putting up numbers on teams. Like they're running numbers. Like they're looking good. The Steelers can't cope with a team that can actually put up numbers is the way that I look at it. Give me the Texans at the money line.
Give me the Steelers -3 and give me the over on the 41.5.
Give me the over on the 41.5 as well. Yeah. I've turned into a CJ Stroud super fan without even realizing. That's the first. You know when like somebody that's in denial for ages first realizes that they're in denial. That's what just happened to me live on the podcast.
Well, we got your next up. We got the Raiders versus the Chargers. The Chargers are at home and they're 6.5-point dogs. Well, they're favored by 6.5, so -6.5. The Raiders are dogs. Sorry, -6.5 for the Chargers at home.
Are the Chargers going to be the Chargers again? That's what this boils down to.
No Jimmy G.
Yeah. How much does that affect? How much does that affect the Raiders?
Give me the Chargers minus the 6.5.
Yeah, give me the Chargers at a touchdown as well. I just don't trust them. I don't trust the Chargers.
I don't trust them either, but I trust the Raiders less.
Yeah, on paper, it's the Chargers all the way, right?
So, and the over-under on that game is 48.
Over. No team can play any defense.
I think it's good. I think it's going to be right around 48, but Give me the under because I don't trust the Raiders to be able to put up points.
But I think the Chargers are going to put up points regardless. So, yeah.
All right. Well,
and the Chargers can't play defense.
The Arizona Cardinals at the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers are 14-point favorites.
Seems a lot. Oh, that seems like so much. Let's look into it. Is that for your fantasy team? Austin Eckler is my fantasy.
He is playing. Austin Eckler is playing today.
Yeah. Austin Eckler is like one of my favorite players in fantasy, but I wasn't able to get him again for the second year in a row, which looks decent this season because he's been injured for the first few games. With Eckler playing,
but
yeah, with Eckler playing, they're going to put up points, definitely. Yes, with the Arizona Cardinals, that seems high. Like that point spread seems very high. Considering the Cardinals aren't as bad as we thought they were going into the season. However, the 49ers is a kind of juggernaut that doesn't look susceptible to the same kind of
it's a divisional
faults.
game.
Yeah. They don't look susceptible to the same kind of faults that the Cowboys do as well. Like the Cowboys can be a bit on and off, but the 49ers is a juggernaut built to like just kick the shit out of whoever's in front of them and beat them and bully them up and bully them. The Cardinals offensive line looked pretty decent against the Cowboys defensive line. That is very good. So give me the 49ers to win, but I think they're going to cover the spread of 13.5. I think it could be 10. Somewhere around there.
So who'd you take?
49ers to win. Cardinals covering the spread.
So you're taking the Cardinals plus 14. Okay.
Yeah, I just want to make it known to everybody out there that I think the 49ers
are going to win. Give me the 49ers minus 14. The over-under is only 43, and there's a 14-point spread. So
well, I definitely think the Cardinals are going to score more points than people think they're going to. So give me the.
I think they're lucky if they get a touchdown.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
I think they're offensively creative.
You might want to. Whoever's got the Cardinals kicker, you might want to start him today because I think there's going to be a lot of field goal attempts.
Well, you're going to want to hope that they make them. A lot of field goal attempts from a potentially quite far away.
Give me the under too, because I think the 49ers score like 30 and the Cards score like 9.
I want the over on that one. I'm actually playing against the Arizona Cardinals kicker in our fantasy division, Matt Prater. So,
well,
I hope you're wrong.
Moving on to the New England Patriots at the Dallas Cowboys. The Cowboys are -6 at home against the Patriots.
Can you tell that? Can you tell that Jay controls the
whole picture? Shannon Sharp his head like that's what makes that whole picture right there.
Can you tell? Can anybody tell that Jay controls the graphics? Do we not have a graphics team available on the show yet? We've been doing this for over 2 years now. Graphics team. Don't think they're coming yet. Oh, right, cool. It's back. Wonderful. Yes, I am still with those boys, and I have been for 25 years, considering they haven't gone to an NFC Championship game since I was born. So I'm not going to abandon them now. Even though I'm British, so I'm allowed to select whichever fucking team I want.
-6.
The Cowboys make me nervous, man. They've made me nervous again. There was no need for me to be this nervous going into the game. Bill Belichick is a defensive guru, as always. So our defense is probably going to look shit again. Just Dak, don't turn over the ball, please. That would be fantastic. Just let's score 40 field goals for the win. I don't care. The New England offense is just so slow, like so unbelievably slow. And I think our defense plays so fast that that's going to be overwhelming. Give me the 6.5. And I already hate myself for it.
All right. Well, the over-under on that game is 43.
Under
Give me the over.
30 points. 30 points to 10. There
All
you
right.
go.
Well, for the final game, since we're back to one Monday night game this week,
Wonderful.
that's the Chiefs at the New York Jets. On the road, the Chiefs are minus 8.5 favorites on the road at the Jets.
That was tagged to be such a good game. It's such a shame they can't flex these games now because that Bills Miami game, as soon as Rodgers' knee went, that Bills Miami game would have been this primetime game and it would have been electric. And I'm in Thailand now, so it's close to midnight here. So watching I might make it, I'll probably make it till 3 a.m. watching the early window. But then watching the late window is like 3 a.m. till 6. But then the late kickoff is at like 11 a.m., which is great for me. So good. And it could have been the Bills against the Dolphins, but it's the Chiefs against the Jets. And the Jets aren't going to live up in this game. The Jets have struggled against really good defenses, and the Chiefs look like they're a really good defense. Give me the Chiefs in this game. With -8.
Over under 41.5.
Oh shit. Under. Like 25 to 3.
Yeah, even if the Chiefs put up 30, yeah, give me the under.
Yeah. What do you make of the Jets players coming out against Robert Saleh's remained faith in Zach Wilson?
I don't know. I know that I like what Rodgers did, where he went to Joe Namath and them guys and said, "You're not helping this fucking kid at all by slamming him in the media." I like that.
Mm-hmm.
It shows that I really believe that Rodgers really ingratiated himself into that team. So it makes me think even more that as long as his body lets him, he'll be back next year.
Yeah.
I think Robert Saleh would be fired if it wasn't for Aaron Rodgers after this year, because the reason I think he gets a pass is you're not going to fire him and then lose Hackett, which was the whole point of putting Hackett and Rodgers together on the Jets. So I think Saleh gets another year because of Rodgers. Otherwise, I think he'd get fired.
Yeah, I think Saleh's held up his end of the bargain. They've got an unbelievable Is it as unbelievable as we think they did? Yes, just because they have to spend so much time on the
Saleh
field.
drafted Zach Wilson, so you got to live with that too.
It's interesting. It would be interesting to hear the dynamic between the GM and Robert Saleh in that decision as to who should be getting fired in that place. Is it better now for the Jets to tank to get? No, because they won't take Caleb Williams because Aaron Rodgers will still be there.
Well, you would
still take Caleb Williams, sit him for a
year or two. Yeah, like it's not the worst thing. But the problem too is they go to get a backup quarterback, and you go get another quarterback to put on the team, and you get Trevor fucking Siemian. That's who the fuck you went and got. Like, you were guaranteeing that Zach Wilson's the starting quarterback. Where at least if you brought in Taylor Heineke, you could have a fucking a competition, and like it. So it feels
really poor. That's really poor GM work as well. You have a 39. Is that how old Aaron Rodgers is? 39-year-old quarterback. And your contingency plan is Zach Wilson, who we don't know if we can play. And like, fair enough. Like, I didn't mind Zach Wilson being a backup quarterback coming into this year. It was going to be interesting to see him play if he had to come in and fill in for Rodgers. Obviously, not come in now and play like this early in the season. But you knew there was a high chance that Aaron Rodgers might go down for at least a game or two, and Zach Wilson wouldn't be able to play football. So who do you have backing up Trevor Siemian? There are plenty of good quarterbacks out there for the Jets to take It's just how much better do they make the Jets in a division with the Bills and Miami? Like, how are they going to try and be the third team in their division to go to the playoffs now that they're like, they could still make that happen, I guess. But if I'm the Jets, I'm not going out there and taking like a crazy expensive veteran quarterback.
Yeah, you could have gotten something better than Trevor Siemian to come in and be the next man up, I guess. But that just shows to me that they're going to ride with Zach Wilson. And I don't know if it's that so that at the end of the year they can justify just walking away from him or what. But
I think they could justify walking away from him now, though, couldn't they?
It's weird. Like, teams don't like to admit they fucked up. That's why it took so long for the 49ers to come off of Trey Lance. Teams don't want to admit they fucked up and move on. It's weird. And then when you do,
what will be interesting.
Then when you do, like Kwesi for the Vikings trades away, I think it was a fifth, but whatever, for Jalen Reagor. Then when he does cut him a year later, everybody's like, oh, you wasted a fucking draft pick or whatever. I'm like, he took a shot. They saw it didn't work, and then they got rid of him next match, So like, you can't win with the fans. So that's why I always say, quit trying to please the fucking fans.
Yeah, if you have a GM that's trying to please the fans, it's time to sack your GM, is the way that I would look at that. Just a final point on this. If the Jets had somebody like Cooper Rush, like maybe they would have a chance of winning some games even in a losing cause. Like, so yeah, they're gonna lose. They're not gonna make the playoffs probably with Cooper Rush, but at least the culture remains positive and they haven't lost like a load of games and that kind of thing. And you still get to see the development of Garrett Wilson, and you still get to see the defense getting the opportunity to stay off the field. The pass game is actually a threat, so you can watch Breece Hall still dominate and still progress and those kind of things. So taking a quarterback, Cooper Rush, who else is out there? You don't want to sit Matt Ryan behind that offensive line. He'd get killed.
Carson Wentz
Taylor
is pretty
Heineke.
athletic. He's still going to be better than Zach Wilson.
I don't hate Carson Wentz to the Jets for the purpose of like winning a few games and keeping the culture good in the building. But actually no, because he's a cancer to locker rooms. They all hate him. So that's not a good start either.
Well, they fucking love Zach Wilson right now.
Nick Foles? Yeah.
Big Dick Nick is still out there. Yeah, you go after Big Dick Nick.
There's a few players that will give them the opportunity to watch their young players continue to develop.
All right, Maddie. Well, we're 15 minutes before kickoff, so we'll get out of here and let everybody go to the bathroom, go get ready for the games. Thanks to the Jaguars for the 21 points to start the fucking fantasy day. That's a good start for me. Great.
I start the day 0-1, but I mean that's 1-1 for the week so far, so I'll take it.
And I gotta win this week. Otherwise, I'm on a slide, and I don't want to go on a slide, so I need to win in fantasy this week.
I'm 3-0 in fantasy this week.
Shout out to the Canadian for walking in circles on trades. Shout out to him.
He just keeps all of our lives a bit more entertaining, does the Canadian, Just whenever I see a message, I'm excited. I'm glad that I didn't take the Amon-Ra Brown for Nakua trade.
Yeah, what he's trying to get me to like give him Pickens for Ayuk, and then he wants me to get ran over on running backs, and I'm like, bro, go away with that. Like, if you want Hunt, let's make a deal for Hunt, but quit making a six-player trade from each team.
Wasn't he trying to get other players involved in, like he was trying to get other fantasy guys involved in trades, like in three-way trades and stuff like that. It's all right. Yeah. Like, I like the game, man, but your team's just shit. You've got to live with it. We told you it on the live fantasy show.
He did at the beginning of the year go, I'm not making any trades until week 7. He's already made like 4 trades.
I'm honestly convinced the guy just has crazy amounts of ADHD, so needs to make these trades to keep his brain like active. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's bored. He's bored of his team.
That's why the individual defensive player league is perfect for him. He plays one of those too, where you have to
Yeah.
draft every individual defensive player too. That's
That's
good
too
for
much
him.
commitment. I love football and I love fantasy, but that's too much commitment for me. What we should start is a dynasty league next year.
Yeah, that definitely could be a thing to do.
Yep.
I don't have it right next to me, and I'll show it next week. But I did show everybody in the group chat the ring that you win this year if you win the fantasy football league.
Wonderful. Very
Did you
excited.
see the picture?
Because I'm 3-0. I've seen it.
Yeah,
I'm
what you
3-0,
didn't
so
see,
it's going to be mine.
what you didn't see is I had it engraved on the inside, and it says "fuck the British."
Oh, fantastic. Because you know that a Brit's going to win it again this year because this would be the third year in the row that the
Dude,
Brits
you
have
know
won it.
that's not gonna happen. I will bet money that wouldn't happen. But
Duffy's already fallen apart a little bit, but I'm 3-0. I'm 3-0. But who's the team with the entire Miami Dolphins offense on it at the moment? That scored 200 points last week.
I don't know, but Moose has been crushing it too.
Yeah. Who is it?
And then Scott, who's Kearney Island Warriors.
I'm playing him today.
Yeah, well, he left Montgomery on the bench.
I know he did.
35 fucking points on the bench or whatever it was. So
let's fucking go.
I did that a couple of weeks ago with Swift in my other league. I was like, oh, that was great.
I had an entire bench like where it was Nico Collins who scored 30 points. It was some other guy scored Kyron Williams after scoring 25 and stuff like that. I got away with the win though, so we're all good.
All right. Well, everybody, thanks for watching. We'll be back with some more pregame shows for you this year. And I hope I smoke it in all the picks again. But again, if you're following me so far this year, after Thursday, 34-14-1. That's all I'm saying.
He's just winning you guys money. This is free money that you're getting just here.
All right. Well, you guys all have a great Sunday. I hope you enjoy the football. Thanks for watching. One world, one love. Deuces.
Cheerio.